What's happening, legends? Welcome back to the Becoming Reborn podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how do I stay motivated in winter. Now, before we get into this discussion, I have been advised to put out a disclaimer. Patrick's a little bit cranky with this one because he's not going to mince his words. Hiya, Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah, strong feelings about this.
If you're a bit of a snowflake or you're easily offended, maybe just go to the next podcast. Maybe
Fair
don't
enough.
listen to this one.
Fair enough. All
You
right.
might not like what I have to say, but if you don't like it, then maybe it's a reflection of you, not of me. Good start, eh?
He's on. He's on.
Lack of emotion too.
Yeah, I love that tism. I love that tism from you. All right, so anyone can train when it's 28 degrees, the sun's out, and motivation is high.
I don't even like training when it's 28 degrees. It's too hot.
I
I
actually hate it. I'd much rather train in
Give me
winter.
8 degrees any day of the week.
Winter's heaps nicer. Like, I sweat a lot.
Yeah, I'm a big sweater too.
I sweat heaps. I'd much rather train. I actually remember when the first morning I walked outside this year and it was a bit cool. I'm like,
You know, there's like mornings in like Jan and Feb where you go for a run and you're like 100 meters in and you're dripping with
Yeah.
sweat. It's so muggy at 5 a.m. No,
I don't
I
like
hate that. Anyway, sorry. That's
yeah, we're
off
talking
topic.
about winter. Okay, so winter is where habits are built, though, Patrick, aren't they?
Yes.
The people who stay consistent now are the ones who are thankful they did when summer arrives. Now, Patrick, I'm going straight to you.
Mm-hmm.
Why does motivation seem to disappear the moment the temperature drops?
Because as a society, we are soft. We have softened a lot. We're soft and we're mentally weak. You think back like when our grandparents were born, no one had a hot shower. It just didn't exist. Like you just had to have a cold shower if you were having a shower. Nowadays, like if you tell someone you have a cold shower, it's like, what is wrong with you? And it's like, we've just gotten used to the creature comforts. Like 100 years ago, like you, as a family, you'd have like, say 4 or 5 kids, like 2 would probably die before they're 15 just because babies died of disease and shit. Like we've gotten so used to the comforts of life that now whenever something is even remotely difficult in any way or mildly uncomfortable, people throw their hands up in the air. Like, I'm going to give you a really extreme example.
Yeah, you've already started pretty extreme.
Yeah, like a basic example, sorry. Like salt and pepper shakers these days, right? If you pick one up and it doesn't have a button that is an electric salt like shaker, all of a sudden like, oh, what do you mean I've got to
Spencer.
twist this thing? Like apparently that now is too much effort and people get the
Keen.
shits. Relax, Travis.
Sorry.
If you have to crack your own pepper, people are off it because you want to push a button instead. How lazy and like lack of resilience do we have these days? I don't like it, Travis.
No, we can all tell how
Yeah.
upset you are, and we're not even into the first like proper question.
When's the
So
intro? Yeah.
so
To
good.
answer your question, why motivation drops is because we are soft.
Yeah.
Any kind of discomfort or difficulty, and people throw their hands up in the air and don't like
It's
it.
because it gets harder. It's harder. It's harder to get out of bed when your bed's warmer. It's comfy.
Great example. Like a couple of years ago, I went and did Kokoda with a group from the gym. We walked the Kokoda Trail and had to camp and stuff like that. And that was seen from other people that I would talk to as like, that's one of the most difficult things you can do. It was challenging and it was uncomfortable, don't get me wrong. But it's like, in our grandparents' generation, the reason that the Kokoda Trail is a thing, because they got sent there at 17 years old with a gun and a helmet and just said, do your best. And they were out there for months with a Japanese army that had 10 times the number of people shooting bullets at them while they were walking through this trail. And now we've got like a Papua New Guinean guide that carries all of our stuff and all we have to do is just walk it with half a bag and sit and sleep in a tent and we're safe. Like, and now that's the hardest thing in the world. Whereas back then, like the perspective shift is wild, right?
Yeah.
I had no one shooting bullets at me.
Yeah, that'd suck. That'd make it heaps harder.
Yeah.
Questions, Patrick. So why do so many people rely on motivation to train?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask for this.
Well,
But
you speak to a lot of our members.
yes, why they do, like why they rely on motivation, maybe they just don't know any different. I think discipline is lacking in everyday life at the moment. a lot of people don't have discipline because of the things that I was just speaking about, of all the creature comforts in life, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think people lack the motivation?
Because well, I think people rely on
Yes.
motivation because like it's fun and it's exciting at the start. It's like when you first start doing like a new event. So using Hierarchs for example, like it's all fun at the start, but then when it comes time to like you got to put in the effort over and over and over again, I think that's when the motivation dies.
Yep.
And that kind of moves into our next question: what is the difference between motivation and discipline?
Motivation is doing things when you want to do them, and discipline is doing them when you don't want to do them. Knowing what you have to do and getting it done regardless.
Yeah. And with those two, Patrick, which one do you lean on more?
A little bit of discipline.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. And it's one of the biggest things that I try and push on my kids. Like there's a lot of things that I actually don't really care about if my kids have that other people put as a high priority list. But if my kids are disciplined and resilient, I'll be a pretty happy dad.
Yeah.
A perfect example yesterday, I'm midway through writing an email about this. Every Thursday afternoon, I take the kids to do their swimming lessons, squad, at 4 p.m. Yesterday, it was cold and it was wet and it was raining.
It was.
And I picked the kids up from school and it was raining when I picked them up from school. And I don't own an umbrella. Probably should get one, but I just the kids weren't happy when they had to walk to the car because it was raining. And Cooper, my 10-year-old, said, "Daddy, do we still have to do swimming lessons?" I was like, "Yeah, why not?" He said, "It's raining." I said, "So? It's Thursday. Like, we're doing what we're doing after school. It's not weather dependent." And we got there. There's normally like 30 or 40 kids in their group that does swimming lessons over a few lanes. I counted them yesterday. There was 7 kids because it was cold and wet and raining. How many parents out there are had the option then and were like, "Oh no, it's raining, we're not going to go to swimming lessons."
How many do you reckon?
Hate that.
Do you reckon it was the parents or the kids?
Both. Well, I put the blame on the parents. The kids follow the parents' lead, right?
Yeah.
Like my boys, once I'd had that chat with them, okay, we're doing it. They weren't stoked about it. And I said it was kind of 2 years ago when we started these swimming lessons 2 days a week for an hour at a time. And I said to my boys, every single time I take you to swimming lessons, I'm getting in the pool and swimming in the lane next to you. I'll never ask you to do something I'm not willing to do myself. And don't get me wrong, there has been days when it's been cold and wet and rainy, and yesterday was a perfect example. I did not want to get in. My body was a bit banged up from training that morning, but got to lead with your actions. Get in. That's discipline. Doing what you don't want to do because you know you have to do it.
Very true. All right, so now we're going to go into our next topic, Patrick, of why winter is actually the best time to improve. Now, your first question I've got for you is, why do you believe winter is where the progress is made?
The biggest progress is made.
Sorry, yeah.
No, that's okay. Maybe because that's when a lot of people don't train or don't train as frequently. So I think the progress there can just be in comparison to others, right?
Yeah, I reckon the biggest progress made is not physical. I think that's where a lot of people would think it's physical.
Yeah,
it's
let's
not.
go.
It's your mindset too, because you harden yourself when you can train through a winter consistently. And once you do it through one winter, you get through summer easy. And then when it comes back to the winter, you know you can do it again.
Yep.
And if you don't, I think this is a question that comes up later, but I think I might just jump the gun on it. If you don't have that consistency throughout a year, you end up going to the yo-yo.
Yep.
And the yo-yo is train through summer, get into the shape that you reasonably like. Through winter, you put on weight, and then you come back to training towards spring, summer, trying to lose the weight that you've just put on. You never quite get it all off. And then it's the same thing. It starts getting colder. The motivation dips. You then go back into winter, but this time you put on a little bit more than you did last time, and it becomes a little bit harder. Now, you can see where this slowly goes. It compounds. So you end up each year trying to lose the weight that you had from the previous winter, and then it just, from there, it just gets a little bit more, and it gets harder and harder. And those habits, the bad habits, because they're the easier ones, those are the ones that form into your routine. Where if you flip it, and you then become consistent through winter, the good habits of, doing it when you don't want to, getting up when it's still cold, sticking to your routine, if you can consistently do them throughout winter, you roll them into summer, and then generally that can continue for a lifetime.
Agreed. I like what you said at the start there around winter, like look at it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
What you mentioned was like if you can do it through winter when it's more difficult, as soon as the sun comes out and the weather warms up, it's a lot easier. Look like winter's your opportunity to harden your mindset.
Yeah.
Because in summer when it's easy and it's enjoyable and it's warm, you're not actually benefiting as much mentally from your training. Physically you are for sure, but winter's your opportunity. Use it. Like look forward to it. Look forward to the challenge as opposed to having the mindset of, oh shit, this is too hard, this is too cold, this is too wet, it's dark. Look at it as the opportunity of like, yes, like I'm actually going to be coming out of this better.
Exactly. See it as like
growth mindset.
Yeah, exactly. Growth mindset. Now, I answered this relatively in depth, Patty. So I'll ask you, what separates the members who stay consistent through winter from those who disappear?
Like the benefit you get from that, and we say it so often, Trav, it rolls into everyday life. We've made at Reborn hiring decisions, whether we choose to hire someone or we don't choose to hire someone based off standards like this, because I can guarantee looking at that 5 a.m. class this morning, seeing how people train, I don't even have to watch them train because I've seen it before, see who turns up consistently 5 days a week and who doesn't, and who goes hard for the entire session or who goes hard when the camera's on them and then they pull the handbrake up once no one's looking. I can tell, and incredibly accurately, who's going to be good at their job no matter what they do, based off how they train, how they turn up through winter, how disciplined they are, as opposed to how motivated they are. Like that is a massive separation. And it's why we are such big fans of like training as the main pillar of your life.
Yeah.
Like how you train and the discipline you show around that, not just turning up to a session, but during a session, like it shows the world and yourself the type of person you are.
I agree. Now, we've just kind of poked and prodded a few people out there. Now we're going to give them some action items, Paddy.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if you were prepared, but I
haven't read this far in the notes that you sent me.
Yeah, but I back you.
Thank you so much.
So now we're going to go with our 3 tips to stay consistent. And then I would like to hear, we'll go one for one like we always do.
Love to.
What's your first one?
Is set some non-negotiables. So, excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. No, that just went away.
Oh, that would have been hectic if you sneeze on a podcast. I've never seen that before. I was going to
turn my headphone on. It's okay. Set your non-negotiables. So I actually, people have commented before, I turn up at the gym every day, 7 days a week, at the same time, or sometimes a little bit earlier if I need to train earlier for whatever reason, at about between 4 and 4:20 a.m. And people are like, that must be so hard. That must be so difficult. I would find, and I genuinely believe this, if I was doing that 3 days a week, that would be so much harder.
Yeah.
So when I say set my non-negotiables, like my body just goes into autopilot and it's just like accepted that every day I'm going to wake up, like my alarm goes off at 3:50 a.m. and I just get up and and get moving. And like, because it's a non-negotiable, like I haven't written it down or signed a contract or anything like that, but it's just in my head, it's a non-negotiable, then things just get easier because like, it's not, I have to motivate myself to go to the gym. Yeah. It's like, I'm just going to the gym.
Yeah, well, mine would be something similar, like non-negotiables / goals, like something to give you something to work towards. I liked yours. Yours is better. Non-negotiables is a better way of putting it, but I had right goals. So all you need is just something more or less to keep you accountable when no one's watching. Mm-hmm. Is basically what your non-negotiables are, right? So yeah, mine would be something similar, but I had goals, but I like yours better. What's your second tip?
Having something to think about whenever you don't want to do what you want to do or what you have to do. And I got this from you, Trav, in how you worded it. Picture at all times in your life, there's a film crew following you around.
Mm.
And all of your loved ones, including your kids, if you are a parent out there, or just anyone in general, would eventually watch that. And you would watch it back yourself. And when you are faced with the decision on, are you going to do something and why not? Why or why not? You have to honestly answer that and then look back on that later on, and you have to live with the decision you've made.
Well, that's a powerful one,
Yeah.
Patrick.
So like I do often think this, like a perfect example right now, the cold pool at Reborn in the recovery area is really cold. I got in yesterday, it was 4 degrees.
It's 4 degrees.
Right? And after a training session, and I'd done a bit of running and I was outside, and I came in, normally I come in really hot, I came in already a bit cold. And I showered and that felt cold, and I thought this is going to be challenging. And when I was about to get in to the cold pool, I very easily could have not done it. There was no one else in there. And I thought to myself, how would I look at my kids if they were watching me right now on the camera and I decided not to do the cold pool? Oh, the second you even get any of those thoughts in your head, like, I don't want my kids to think I bitched it. Or not even bitched it, just like the fact that I chose against something because it was uncomfortable and because there was no one watching. Like, if you always think there is a camera crew following you around and there's a documentary made about your life, what do you want to be seen to be doing when no one else is watching?
I love that. Mine's, which is ironic. Mine's not as emotional as that one, because that's, again, I like your one better. It's more powerful. Mine just find a trainer accountability buddy. So like someone that you can train with every morning or whenever you guys train to keep you accountable, because there is going to be days where you don't want to go, and there is going to be those times where you make those. We all negotiate with ourselves.
Yes.
We make deals with ourselves.
Everyone does.
Everyone does. Like I when you were telling that story at the cold pool every morning, I'm like, oh, I'll just do 30 seconds. And then you get in and it's like, oh, well, I'm here now. But you always make those deals and you make those you start negotiating with yourself. But when there's a friend that's relying on you and you've told them that you're going to go, I think it's a really powerful motivator, for a lack of better words. But at the same time, that also creates a little special bond between you two as well, or you three. We've got a group, and
it's good.
The accountability is questionable of how we deliver it, but at the same time, it's great accountability.
Perfect example this morning. Mullo's got sick this week, Brendan Mullally, and he stayed away from the gym saying he doesn't want to be a super spreader. Really appreciate that, because there's been some that don't. And Big Bill, I won't say use the term called him out, but like sent a message in the group chat, like checking in on him. He made a little joke about it, like he's still in the creek, like, because there was a story earlier in the week. But then he jumped on, like, and that's a genuine check-in. Just guys have a way of doing it with a bit of banter and a bit of a joke around it. But that, like, I know Bill, that's a genuine check-in. He made a joke about it, but like he's checking in with him, and I know Mullows would appreciate it.
And to kind of go off the back of that, Paddy, remember Bill a few weeks ago had a wedding.
Yes.
And he said to the boys, I won't be back till Wednesday.
But hold me to it.
And he hold me to it. And he didn't come in for the Wednesday session, but he came in and went for a run instead. Because the Wednesday session after a weekend on the drink at a wedding is probably not a great starter for the week. Yep. So instead, he still came in because he said he was going to come in, and then he went for a run. So you've got that level of accountability if you got a friend to do it through your winter. All right, last tip from you, Patrick.
It'll be a quick one. Tip for staying consistent in winter: be autistic. When you have no emotion, it's a lot easier.
Is it?
Yeah, I guess so. I've never been not autistic, but like it's, you just like, some decisions you just don't have to make, because it's just like, oh, okay, that's what I'm doing, and you just go and do it.
I'm going to give an example. My last tip is, mine are more probably leaning towards like the beginners.
Oh, I've got a serious one now. I'll go after you.
Yeah, okay. We only get 3, but you can have 4. You can have a bonus one. Now, you use this line every time someone comes in for their first session. And it's like, you don't want them to go at 100%. You want them to go about 70%. Now, every session you do at 70% is 70% better than the sessions you do at 0.
That was me yesterday.
Yep. Like sometimes you just got to get it done, tick the box. Okay. And that session that you did there, it wasn't about any physical results. No. It wasn't about you. Exactly. It's about the habit. It's about setting the routine. So that's my third and final, and probably my biggest one. And that's not say like, all right, I'm just going to go 70% for throughout winter. Just on those mornings when you really are struggling.
And
your body's broken down. You
get one of them a week.
You get shit night's sleep before the night before. There is those moments where like, I really couldn't be bothered. I promise you, if you get up and still do 70%, you're going to feel much better throughout that whole day. But then the resilience and the consistency that you end up building up will serve you for a lifetime.
We can remove the autistic one because that wasn't really a tip.
Yeah,
You
okay.
can't be more autistic.
Oh, so we're going to switch it. So
Sure.
the bonus tip was
the bonus one.
be autistic.
And my third and final tip is my one rule in life: if you say you're going to do something, do it, and don't worry about any promises or bets that you make towards other people. It will help you in every facet of your life. If you say you're going to do something, you hold yourself to a higher standard than you expect anyone else to, or the standard that you hold others to, you hold yourself to a higher standard and a higher expectation than that. And I'll tell you what, it's going to help you with a lot more than just staying consistent in winter.
Well, I was going to ask you for one piece of advice, but you just gave it to me. That was fantastic.
Well, there's your bonus one.
Yeah, well done, Patrick. All right, guys. So that is our advice for getting through winter and staying motivated, so to speak. All right, guys. Till next week. Peace.